Yo, yo, the problem, it's like he has no dignity. He has no dignity. He has no dignity.
On to the back. Irish. Come on.
He'll let him take his manhymen.
Yo, stop, man, stop. All right, stop. Yo, let's go.
Boy, let him hit.
Let me stop. All right, stop, bro.
WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app.
What's going on, football fans, and welcome to another edition of Field Vision, brought to you as usual by War Room Sports in conjunction with the Sports Kings. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev, and I'm here at the round table this evening with my partners. We got Jimmy of War Room Sports.
To all my killers and my $100 billers and real people who ain't got no feelings, this show is for you.
All right, we got the homie Fred Perdue from collegefootballextra.com. What's going on, Fred?
What's going on, guys? Patriots. All day, every day.
All right, and from War Room Sports, we got B. Austin. What's going on, B?
Feeling a little under the weather. I got a little bout going on with walking pneumonia. So what I decided, my doctor prescribed a Chewy in order to feel better. So right now, live on the air, Chewy.
Do what you got to do to get well, man. Do what you got to do to get well.
Man, she is nursing me back to health.
All right, well, look, man, y'all know that the 2014 NFL season, the regular season, is officially over. Wildcard weekend is upon us, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the 4 games coming up on Wildcard weekend. But before we do that, B. Austin, let everybody know who the sponsor is of today's show.
Oh, yeah, I get real excited when we got a sponsor. Ruckus, cut the check, ruckus.com. Viewers, we have an opportunity for you to win $250 in sports tickets to any sport that you love. Ruckus is giving away $250 in tickets, as I said, to any sporting event that you want. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and Ruckus is spreading the holiday spirit and cheer by giving away $250 in tickets to NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL games. Here are the 3 ways for you to enter. First, send us your Super Bowl favorite or write a sports-related haiku about the season this year and send it to giveaway@ruckus.com. That's giveaway@ruckus.com. 1 entry, please. The second way, tweet it. I just entered to win $250 in sports tickets from @JoinTheRuckus and then hashtag #JoinTheRuckus. That's on Twitter. So we want you to tweet it. I just entered to win $250 in sports tickets from @JoinTheRuckus. The third way, tag us or tag Ruckus on Instagram at a sporting event with the hashtag #JoinTheRuckus, @JoinTheRuckus. The contest will officially begin, or has already officially begun, December 19th, and is running through January 2nd. So you still got a little bit of time. Email giveaway@ruckus.com. And good luck. So shout out to Ruckus.
Shout out to Ruckus, no doubt. Ruckus.com. All right, so we're going to get into these 4 wildcard playoff games coming up this weekend. And we're just going to start them in order. We're going to start with the Saturday game, which starts at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Carolina Panthers. Yes, visiting the Panthers by way of the Panthers actually winning their division at what, 6-10? What was their record?
4-12.
They had something 1, 3-13.
One in. All right.
One
so Cards at Panthers. Now, you know, we're kind of clowning the Panthers for being in the playoff in this situation, but with the Cardinals' third-string quarterback starting this playoff game, how do you think the Panthers might fare in this game? Do you guys give them a shot? Or
I'm
I can
picking
even ask it inversely. Do you give the Cardinals a shot?
I'm picking the Panthers to win this game. Of course, they're going into the playoffs with a losing record, but I think they're actually going to win this game because of the injuries in the Cardinals. Now, I won't count the Cardinals out because I think they're one of the most well-coached teams in the entire National Football League. But, yo, this whole season hasn't made any sense from start to finish. So now I'm picking a team with a losing record to go in and win a game in the playoffs. It's not really an upset. I mean, they're a home team, for Christ's sakes. But still, I'm picking the Panthers.
Same thing here, Jim. I wouldn't. I mean, of course, with the odds and the records, it would be considered an upset. But these are two teams, in my opinion, that are trending in opposite directions. I mean, it's hard to say someone with a record like the Panthers are actually trending anywhere. But, going into these playoffs, like the Cardinals just have problems that, it makes you feel a little sorry for that team because this team was really consistent, throughout most of the year until the injury bug just kept hitting them until it could barely hit them anymore. I mean, these guys have played with 3-4 different quarterbacks this year. Now they're going into a playoff game with the third-string quarterback. I don't really see how they can do it. I know their defense is tough, but the Panthers can play pretty good defense when needed. And I think the Panthers' defense going against the Cardinals and their third-string quarterback might be a safer bet than that vaunted Cardinals defense going against Cam Newton and the rest of the Panthers offense. So I'm going to pick the Panthers in this one as well. It's kind of a shame that it had to happen like this for the Cardinals, but I think their run for this season is pretty much over.
Things are so bad for the Cardinals that they were actually talking about calling Kurt Warner, and I say that with a straight face because that's the way it was brought up on a news outlet. Like they literally were considering calling Kurt Warner and trying to convince him to come back after 3 or 4 years out of the game and quarterback this team. That being said, I believe that the Cardinals will have to relinquish their rights to manhood if they lose to a 6-10 team, turn their playbooks in, and cut the entire team. I know they're headed in opposite directions, but I'm one of the people that firmly believe if you're able to get in to the playoffs at 6-10, there's something drastically wrong. You are not good. You do not deserve to be there. You do not deserve to win. I don't care what anyone says. The Cardinals have to win this game for pride, for game checks, for manhood, for everything stated. They got to win this. I'm picking the Cardinals just because it's the right thing to do.
Any given Sunday, in this case Saturday.
Thursday night football on a Saturday, any given Saturday, all of that crap. Man, let's be real. Let's be very real. Ryan Lindley's not taking this team that far. Let's be very honest with ourselves. Man, the Panthers are going to walk over these dudes. I mean,
and for the record, the Panthers are 7-8-1 on the season.
Yes,
if that makes any difference.
Yes, they're 7-8-1.
One game they couldn't win or lose.
Offensively,
a tie is worth 2 losses.
Offensively, I just don't see where Lindley, who can distribute the football, but when it comes down to it, can he lead this team? I don't think so. The defense will hold up for about a quarter, I'll say about a half, maybe 3/4. And then they'll find a way to give up that one touchdown or that one field goal, and Cam Newton will make a play here, a play there. Kelvin Benjamin will make a catch here, a catch there over somebody, and Patrick Peterson will have his lunch given to him by Kelvin Benjamin, and we'll say, hey, why is this team that's 7-8-1 winning a playoff game? But in reality, it's the quarterback. It comes down to the quarterback, and if you don't have a quarterback in the playoffs, you don't win games really.
Yo, just a little aside, that Patrick Peterson's name comes up. He is one of the most physically gifted athletes to ever play in the NFL, but he has definitely regressed this season because he gets his lunch handed to him every time I turn the TV on and see he is getting smashed on.
When you concentrate on other cornerbacks and you're not actually going up against them because you're not a wideout, and even if you do get on offense for a couple plays, you're not going up against that guy. And you do this when you should be doing this and playing your game. That's what happens.
Yeah, I agree that with Fred on how the game will probably go down. I think it'll be one of those hang around games in either direction. Like one of these teams will hang around, and it'll be a big play here and there. And I agree that it'll probably be Carolina making that big play here or there. to eventually win the game. So, like I said, for me, I like Bruce Arians as a coach. I feel sorry for how this season might end for him unless, miracles happen and they keep proving people wrong. When Carson Palmer went down, I went on record saying they might not win another game this season, and they proved me wrong on that. So we'll pretty much see how that goes down. So, B. Austin, you're picking the Cardinals, and Fred, who'd you pick?
I have the Panthers.
All right, so that's 3 for the Panthers and 1 for the Cardinals. All right, so let's move
B.
on
Austin,
to...
you're out on that island, good brother.
like
I'm
Pat
on the
Peterson.
island.
Like Pat Peterson.
No, more like Revis.
All right, so let's go to the second game of Saturday, the 8:15 tilt. This is the third game of this year's installment of an NFC North rivalry matchup between the Ravens and the Steelers. The Ravens will be going to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a very explosive year offensively. The Ravens, a little inconsistent in my opinion. They look really good at times this season, and then there's times that they kind of leave you scratching your head, and a lot of that has to do with the play of their quarterback, Joe Flacco. So, Fred, what do you see happening in this game?
The team that I thought I would fear the most turned out to be the team that I fear the least, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Cool, Joe Flacco, whatever, Super Bowl champion, whatever, that's nice. Antonio Rice Brown is going to have a field day in this game. If Le'Veon Bell has even a remotely half a good game, not even a full, just a half of a good game, and he's slightly effective, this is a Steelers win. Because otherwise, if the Steelers can't run the ball because they have Dre Archer and that's really it. If Dre Archer's their main guy, we have problems. But I think the Steelers will find a way. Big Ben is kind of getting up there in age a little bit. It's about that time to try to win one right before the end, and this might be it, even though that defense is still – I found one thing interesting about their last game. Those old guys started coming out of that secondary, and that defense started flying around again. Just saying. Troy Polamalu, hang them cleats up, man.
Just an update. Steelers they haven't ruled Le'Veon Bell out. They said he has no ligament or structural damage. He just has a hyperextended right knee. So, they're not counting him out yet. But like you said, if they're without him, they're kind of thin in the backfield.
And the Matrix
can't end up going. And shout out to Dre Archer because he is a friend of the War Room. We met his father while he was still in college. So, we root for him. But being honest, if they, like you said, if they go into that game with Dre Archer as their primary threat or their only threat, then they could be in for a long day. Ben Roethlisberger's had a pretty good year. He had a great year passing the ball. Antonio Brown had a great year as well. But they need that balance that Bell gives them. So, I want to see good games. I want to see everybody at full strength. So I hope, he can get back in there and go in this game and go as close to 100% as possible. Just a little information on the two teams from the season. Baltimore won the first matchup head-to-head 26-6. That was back in September. The Steelers won the second matchup in November 43-23. So, like I said, you got your third installment in this matchup for the season. B. Austin, how do you see it going down?
I think that the Ravens are going to pull this out.
Lone Wolf over there, man. Lone Wolf.
Yeah. I'm lone wolfing it again, probably. I do see a resurgence in the Pittsburgh offense. Looks a little different than what we're used to in terms of running the ball. I think that Le'Veon Bell is such a huge weapon that not only him being less than 80% may pose a problem for Pittsburgh. And if they do have to depend on Drew Archer, look, Drew, you're a friend of the War Room. Hopefully, this is your time to shine. If you have to back up Le'Veon and come in and get more touches than usual, or if you got to start. But to be candid, I think Baltimore comes into this full strength with a full complement. They have some of the best linebackers in football. Joe Skinny, maybe a little overrated, maybe not.
A little overrated.
But Steve Smith Sr. Is still making very big plays. Torrey Smith is making much better plays than when he was at Maryland. He's balling. I don't know. Forsett is not. I'm saying the Ravens, man. I'm saying the Ravens.
Well, by the way, Loaded comes back this week too.
Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna. You're not lone wolfing it because I think I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. Like I said, it was just the inconsistency of this team, but this is the team that I believe in. Not necessarily saying believe in to, win another Super Bowl, but I think with the shaking up Bell, whether he plays or not, I mean, if he does play, of course, he's not going to be 100% that quick. Like Fred just said, Haloti Ngata comes back fresh off of a 4-week vacation. If they can find a way to make the Pittsburgh Steelers one-dimensional on offense, I think that Baltimore Ravens defense will take advantage of that. And, we've seen their offense, along with Joe Flacco, get hot in the playoffs before. Like I said, I'm not necessarily looking at the Super Bowl run of a couple of years ago, but I think this team can turn it on at the right timing and actually go into Pittsburgh and get this game. So I'm going to pick the Ravens as well. Jim, what you got?
Yo, Drew Archer, this is your mom's spaghetti moment. So I think you should take advantage of this. I'm taking the Steelers. The Ravens are way too inconsistent. And watching them play, they really have no identity at this point as a team. Like, when you used to think about the Ravens, you thought about one thing. Now, the Steelers' identity has changed over the years, but they still have an identity. The Ravens have no identity at all. I don't know who's going to show up. Either a team that could possibly win the championship or a team that could lose by 40 in this first game. So, with that being said, I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm taking the home team. I'd rather have Ben Roethlisberger as opposed to Joe Flacco. Shout out to Jim Ricalto. I know he's going to enjoy this pick. But I'm taking the Steelers.
All right, so let's move on to the third game of the weekend, Sunday tilt, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We got the Bengals at the Colts. Now, the Bengals, I believe, haven't been out of the first round since, I want to say, like 1991. Is that correct?
Something like that. It's been a long damn time.
So this is a game, in my opinion, between two more teams that are a bit inconsistent. The Bengals finished the season 10-5-1. The Colts finished the season 11-5. When the Bengals started off the season, they looked like world beaters. I can remember back to a time when there were 3 3-0 teams in the league: the Cincinnati Bengals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Arizona Cardinals. And the question was, there were a few questions. Which is the best 3-0 team in the league? I think most of us picked the Cincinnati Bengals at the time because their defense was.
They came here and we took care of their offense.
Then the question was, which of these 3-0 teams won't make the playoffs? Eagles fans got offended when a lot of people said the Eagles, and now look at us. So, Bengals versus Colts. B. Austin, how do you see this one going?
As you said, this is the battle of inconsistencies. Here's the thing. The Colts have to have a great game from Andrew Luck.
27-0. I'm sorry, B. 27-0 Colts back on October 19th over the Bengals.
Over the Bengals, and I remember that. They have to have a great game from Andrew Luck in order for them to be even remotely a real playoff shot. Andy Dalton can play okay to good, distribute the rock around to a number of playmakers, both in the backfield and on the edges, and they can win. Because the Bengals D has more pride than to allow themselves to get mollywopped again, since they already got mollywopped the first time by the Colts. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this. I know that Andrew Luck has weapons in terms of on the edge, his receivers, but he's got a running back that looks like Tarzan and plays like Jane in Richardson. And Ahmad Bradshaw isn't back, I don't believe. So they're dependent on who to run the ball? Andrew Luck?
Boom Heron?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's not
rough.
Too great. I mean,
that's rough.
You guys also have to remember that A.J. Green is questionable for this game as well.
That was my next point.
Because of the arm?
A.J. Green. It wasn't the arm.
Concussion.
It wasn't the, did you see? Ask Mike. Mike Mitchell hit A.J. Green so hard, I think he's playing in that bowl game with Georgia against Louisville. But, you know.
He knocked him back to the future.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Fred, what are your thoughts on this one?
If A.J. Green plays in this game, I still don't think they win this game. Because as much as I like what I've seen from Jeremy Hill, he is a explosive runner. He actually reminds me of a bigger version of Le'Veon Bell before he lost the weight. Because he can catch the ball out the backfield. He's pretty fast. He's not a blazer, but he can run away from some folks. But the problem is Andy Dalton is throwing to the who's who of nobodies in the NFL. Mohamed Sanu
can ball.
Mohamed Sanu.
Doesn't mean he's somebody.
My problem with that receiving cast, you don't. Who are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of Mohamed Sanu. I'm not afraid of Marvin Jones. I may be afraid of Tyler Eifert, but he doesn't flash to me. Andrew Luck he doesn't need a running game. He doesn't necessarily need it, but it's great to have. The Colts defense is good enough. They're good enough to give him a 3-point win. Give him a lead. That's it. Andrew Luck, don't make any mistakes. Don't look like you did against the Cowboys, and you win this game. Plain and simple.
I'm gonna go with the Colts as well. Biggest part of that is these stats I'm about to read to you. 3 playoff games, 1 touchdown pass, 6 interceptions, and of course those are the statistics of Andy Dalton and his 3 playoff performances. And I am in no way an Andy Dalton detractor. I actually defend Andy Dalton. You know, when people question his contract, when people, you know, for some reason rank him below quarterbacks that I particularly think he's better than, you know, I don't really understand the
RG3?
No, it's a list of them. It's not just 1 or 2. I don't really understand how people to their conclusions about Andy Dalton, but one thing I can say is I definitely would understand how people could go into this game and not trust Andy Dalton or the Cincinnati Bengals to get it done, because they've been in the playoffs lately, year after year, and they haven't gotten it done. So until they show and prove, I don't think I can go out on a limb and pick them. And you have a questionable A.J. Green, which is who Andy Dalton forces the ball to time and time again when he's on the field. So I just don't think they're going to go into Indianapolis and win this game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts for those reasons, and for the fact that, you know, Andrew Luck, this is his time. I don't think the Colts are actually good enough to make a run towards the Super Bowl, but I don't see them going out in the first round either. So
I can get away with this one. When you have a quarterback like Andrew Luck.
Oh, you done ruined it. You ruined it. Oh,
he's going to be a bum for life now.
I can get away with that one.
Listen, man, I was getting ready to give my opinion. I think Fred just ruined it. I was going to say, like, you know, due to all the research that I've done, which included going on Twitter and just looking at it, teams with the more effective quarterback win playoff games 87.9% of the time. And with that being said, the Colts are playing at home. They have the better quarterback. I'm taking the Colts. Both teams have injuries at this point. Reggie Wayne is 186 years old. You guys see that pass he caught last week and got tracked down from behind? Like, yo, he had an 80-yard reception. Like, you don't get 80-yard receptions and don't score, but he was so slow. Anyway, with all that being said, I'm still taking the Colts. Andrew Luck is the better quarterback. although Fred might have just ruined that.
All right. So let's go to the last game of the weekend, 4:40 game on Sunday. Now these are two teams that I don't think anybody out there trusts, because these are two teams that you expect, even if a lot of times they fall short of making the playoffs when they probably should make the playoffs, and when they do get in, on rare occasions, the Lions and the Cowboys both blow their opportunities, even when they're expected to do more. So we got the Lions visiting the Cowboys at Jerry World, AT&T Stadium. There were some developments in the story leading up to this game. Ndamukong Suh, at first, he was suspended for this game for stepping on the leg of Aaron Rodgers while he was on the ground last week. He won his appeal. So instead of being suspended, Ndamukong Suh will just have to pay a $70,000 fine. So this may change the dynamic of the game a little bit, especially with the Cowboys leaning heavily on running back DeMarco Murray. Now you have Suh, back in the trenches to kind of try to deal with that. Jimmy, how do you see this one going, especially now that they got their big stopper back in the middle?
Yeah. Here's my problem with this, and you guys know I do crack research, like I said, going on Twitter. It's hard for me to pick the Detroit Lions in any game just because they are the Detroit Lions.
That's real.
No, and I have been rolling with the home team in damn near all of my picks so far, and there's a reason for that. Now, again, I might be completely wrong for this reason. Again, this season has not been making any sense. Things that are supposed to happen don't happen. But I definitely can't pick the Lions. Now, I don't think Suh should have been suspended anyway. So, what do you guys think about Suh's? Like, do you think he should have been suspended based on that?
I think he should have been suspended. That's his 8th offense. So
that's the only thing. It's because it's Suh. Like, if it was anybody, I see anybody else.
It's his history working against him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. So I wasn't upset about it. I saw a lot of people upset about it. I wasn't upset about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Shout out to Zavad from Tissue to Tape podcast, who says that his team needs more people like Suh that'll get in trouble, because every team needs some dirty. If you watch the Lions, they all feed off for that, by the way. He's not the only one making little dirty plays. Like, they all dirty now. He just dirty the whole team up.
Dominic Riola.
But the fact of the matter is, when they start playing like that now, they're a legit team. Like, the Lions are a legit team. With that being said, I can't pick them, man. I'm going with Dev's boy, Tony. I think they'll get it done. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with the home team again.
This game has a couple of dilemmas for me, because I think, of course, the Lions have the better defense. The Lions are a bit inconsistent on offense, even though they have the weapons that they have, and these guys have put up numbers in the past. When the Lions win this season, they kind of win ugly. It's not because of offensive explosions like they had in seasons where they actually fell short. So the Lions can kind of grind games out. But I'm wondering if the defense can hold, if their offense isn't being consistent, can their defense hold against this new balanced attack of the Dallas Cowboys? Another dilemma for me is that the Cowboys aren't as good at home this season as they've been on the road. I believe they're 8-0 on the road. Every game they've lost this season came at home. So if they were right for an upset, like, this would be the time that they would get that upset. Playing a playoff game at home against a pretty decent Lions team. Third dilemma, like I said, starting this segment, these are two teams that you can't trust. So it's hard as hell to pick a team for this game because you have no idea which team is going to show up. Even though their losses did come at home, I think I'll have to go with the Cowboys in this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cowboys. But for me, this is probably the most difficult game to pick just because, both teams, they surprise you in a negative way anytime they're supposed to do anything. So, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys on this one.
Yo, I'm going to need my Lions to bring the ruckus. Because Ndamukong Suh ain't nothing up with. Great points.
Shout out to ruckus.com, by the way.
Ruckus.com. Who are the running backs for the Detroit Lions?
Joey Bell.
Okay. Joey Bell, and who's the other? Reggie Kardashian. When Reggie Kardashian is at his best, is it on grass or on turf?
Good question. I'd say turf.
Reggie Kardashian is still somewhat of a nightmare and a mismatch when he's in the game.
When healthy. Yeah.
When healthy.
Yeah.
There is nothing that leads me to believe that Brandon Carr or Orlando Scandrick are that much better than they were a year ago or the year before that. And Megatron, he poops on the Autobots unless they're Optimus Prime, and ain't no Optimus Primes in the Dallas Cowboys secondary. So, Jimmy, your stat is the better quarterback wins 87.9% of the time based on Twitter, on your Twitter findings.
Yes.
Who's the better quarterback, Stafford or Romo?
I think it's closer than most people would think. Well, I don't know. See, Dallas fans are crazy, but I would take Romo. I definitely would.
You'd take Romo.
I can agree with that one too.
I'd take Romo.
I think I'd take Romo as well. I think Romo is definitely the better quarterback. It pains me to say that. I'm actually a Romo supporter as much as I can be, being as though I'm an Eagles fan, and I like to see Tony Romo get hurt when he plays against us. But I don't think he gets his just due, and I'm doing all of this rambling because I'm not really decided.
Yeah. You sound like me. You're doing everything.
His just due doesn't matter, be awesome, because no matter how this game goes, if the Cowboys end up on the short side of the stick, it's going to be Tony Romo's fault, or he's going to be the choker in everybody's eyes, no matter how it goes. He could throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns,
and 1 pick.
And the defense gives up a touchdown at the end.
It's going to be Tony Romo's fault.
But you know what, Dev? I agree with that. I think part of that, none of us want to admit this, but the Dallas Cowboys to some extent are bigger than the game itself. And that's Jerry Jones has made it so that, he called them America's team, and people actually run with that. And the fact of the matter is, when you're at the helm of that team, that's what comes with that, man. Unless they're the last team at the end of the season, he can go through this entire playoffs throwing 5 touchdowns a game, 400 yards a game. If he gets to the Super Bowl and they don't win, and even if he plays well in the bowl, he still will get blamed.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm going with the Lions.
All that being said, he going
with the Lions. Wow.
I'll go with the Lions.
The Lions in 4 games, they're against playoff teams. That's twice against the Packers, once against the Patriots, once against the Cardinals. They're 1-3. That's the problem.
The Eagles.
The one time their one win was against Green Bay in week 3. They won 19-7. In those other 3 losses, they lost by 8 points or more.
Can I change my pick?
The one thing I noticed in all of that, outside of the Cardinals, you're going up against good quarterbacks. And Jimmy, as he said too, effective quarterback play. And they weren't just beaten by the Patriots. They weren't just beaten by the Green Bay Packers the second time around. They were blown out. That's a problem because that secondary is going to have you. As much as that D-line is great, and Grover Quinn, whatever, he's the leading interceptor in the league and all. That's great, but one safety doesn't affect a whole secondary.
We know. We're Eagles fans. Malcolm Jenkins did not affect the secondary enough.
With that all being said, I don't care if you have, unless Sue is stepping on DeMarco Murray's hand and breaking that man's hand again,
you're
going to see a game like last year where you're going to see an offensive explosion, and it's going to turn out like when the Cowboys played Denver last year and Romo, but it's going to be the other way this time.
I'm trying to
Romo's going to do it this time. I think Romo will do it.
I'm trying to see Ndamukong step on Romo back.
But for everybody out there, if you don't know what Fred is talking about, like last year, head-to-head, the Lions beat the Cowboys 31-30. So
there was an offensive explosion,
yeah.
just back and forth. And then I'm referring to when they played the Broncos as
That
well.
was like 50-something to 40-something, right?
And yes, and Romo threw an
then
interception.
Romo threw the interception
On the 15-yard line to lose the game. Well,
Yeah,
that won't happen this time. I think this year is the year of Romo. And I'm not going to say he's going to win a Super Bowl or anything, but he's much improved. And when you have that running game,
He's not much improved. They're just balanced. They're just balanced. That's all.
When you have DeMarco Murray and you have those other two backs that can, those two combined do what another can do. And with Dez Bryant playing like he's playing, Jason Witten still hanging around, and Terrence Williams still out on an island running 9 routes because that's all he can run. Shout out to Baylor and their wideouts because that's all they know how to run, a 9 route.
That's all RG3 could throw.
I really think that this Cowboys team they have a very good chance of winning this one. They just have to hold off and just not give up that last touchdown. Hold them to 3 one time. Just hold them to 3 one time. That's it. That's it.
Back and forth, seesaw.
That's
Last
it.
person to stop wins the game,
Yes,
basically.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, Beyonce, are you officially going to go on record and change your pick? Or
No, I'm rocking with the Lions. That's an NFC East. That's an NFC East biased pick. I can't pick the Cowboys.
He picked the Cowboys all season. He picked the Cowboys over the Eagles twice.
I know.
But he
Not
can't
the
pick
playoffs.
them
Not
against anybody else.
Not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs.
You just don't trust Romo. Romo with the ball last. You don't trust him, huh?
All right. Well, shout out to Detroit because my mother-in-law's from Detroit. I always got to put that out there. All right. So those are the 4 games for Wildcard weekend in the NFL. We'll definitely be back at you guys next week because we're going to preview the divisional round as well as give out our postseason awards. So look out for that show next week. Again, another shout out to ruckus.com. Make sure you enter that contest. If you don't know what we're talking about, rewind this video to the beginning and check out the contest that you can be entered into to win some great prizes.
Ruckus.com/giveaway.
No doubt. All right, but as usual, like we always tell you guys, if you're watching the video and you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section because we want to know what you think about these 4 wildcard playoff games coming up this weekend. And like we always tell you guys, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
We'll see you chumps on top.
Get that War Room Sports mobile app.
That's right. If not, kill yourself.
Wait, it's the war room with 5